The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. Me. Today I woke up dizzy, without strength, and with a slight headache. I am. Probably aligning you with the task of the day. Me. Yes, it is the safest, since I have been living in the process day by day aligned with what we must work. Yesterday I was able to understand something very strong for me, and that culminates my week of emotional work, and maybe that's what makes me feel that way today. I am. What was the process involved? Me. Well, after working with what I feel, with my ancestors and so on, I realized that I chose to learn to play the piano this week, just after the 10 days of the emotional. This February 2020, we bought a piano for Guige to play on trips, but I had never really realized that the piano was mine. In my head, I had bought it for Guige. The thing is, the piano stayed in Egypt for all of the following trips, and I decided that I would learn to play it if I returned here. Since I will be a year, I had no excuses, so I brought it and started a few days ago. But it wasn't until yesterday, when we closed the emotional Taurus, that I realized why I have a hard time playing the piano, and it makes me so nervous while frustrating me. Since I was born, in my house nothing but classical music was heard. My grandfather was a fan and had a huge collection of CDs. I heard everything with him every day while he cleaned his coin collection, since he loved numismatics. I sat down to draw nearby, and silently we both listened to Chopin, Mozart, Holst. And because of this, I wanted to learn piano. My mother, for my 8 years, gave me a small piano, an organ, and I started with my classes. I wanted to play classical, but the teacher I had was horrible. He would make me play The Cockroach and Happy Birthday, and he would have me for hours writing down the do note on the page, the re on another, and so on, all of them. In addition, he smoked next to me while he taught me. I never learned anything from him. When I returned home, I tried to play by myself Für Elise, Clair de Lune, and many others. One day I made my own melody, and I achieved something that seemed impossible to me, playing with 2 hands. I perfected the song and practiced every week. Already 9 years old, my grandfather was dying, although none of us knew, only him, because he had chosen to let himself die by not using insulin for his diabetes. One day when I was older, my grandmother told me that when my grandfather heard the full song I composed, he started crying, something very uncommon for him. My grandmother asked him what was wrong with him, and he replied, "It's my requiem," a song or prayer that is made for the dead. He always liked to joke that he had a heart attack, but a few months after that, the real one came to him. The song I composed, his requiem, by him, and since his death by him, I have never played it again, and soon after I never played the piano again. Yesterday I realized that it is the left hand, that of the heart, that I cannot move easily, and I recognize the emotional trauma that my subconscious possesses in relation to the piano. My body was reacting to something I had never related, and I found it very symbolic that by healing all this, I decided to relearn how to play it. I am. It is normal that when the emotional process is understood or allowed to feel, it passes to the physical body as a reaction. In the beginning, everything is an idea, which is moved by energy, is processed in emotion, and materializes in action. Thus, everything you think or perceive, you will feel as an emotion within you, which will pass to your organs. For this reason, the reaction in our body, which we call symptoms, can occur in 2 ways. One, that you have never paid attention to the emotional process, so it draws attention through the disease and the physical problem. And another, that by working on it and beginning to become aware, the body tries to process and balance it, feeling exhausted, dizzy, and certain pains. Me. So it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it'll hurt just the same, LOL. I am. Well, it's like when you sit all day in front of the computer in bad posture, and then everything hurts, or when you go to the gym and everything hurts, but you feel better. Me. I understand. I am. The body works by pulses, reactions to external events that modify the internal. Therefore, many times the body does not know how to interpret between pleasure and pain. Both are mixed. One of the fundamental keys to understand is that for the body, there are only pulses. It is your ability to manage those electrical pulses that will awaken adrenaline or dopamine. Me. Wait a minute. Something just came to my mind now with what you just said. Yesterday we talked about how emotion is key as a way of assimilating information, and it is the most important intelligence. But when I heard you describe this, I just realized that all emotions are not external energies, but produced by hormones. A hormone or a mixture of them produces each one of the physical reactions that we know as emotions. So all the emotions that we feel do not first arise as a symptom, but rather are a reaction to the symptom. I am. And this is how you open the layers of the onion. Emotions, as we spoke yesterday, are electromagnetic, energetic pulses, positive and negative. But you, like many humans, are designed to analyze the parts. And instinctively, when we said this, you separated the physical body as if it were something else, when the physical body is the manifestation of those pulses. Sooner or later, the religious, spiritual, and spiritualists will see that there is no division between mental, emotional, and physical, but that all three are reactions between aspects of the same being or thing. As we speak, just as water has a solid, liquid, and gaseous state, the being has a mental, emotional, and physical state. And one day, well, atheists, scientists, will understand that the spirit and divinity were part of the matter they studied so much, to understand the spirituality that lies in it. Like an Ouroboros, the pulse of cosmic vibration generates energy. That energy generates matter, and matter generates hormones, which allow, through electrical pulses, to generate emotions that interpret these energies and that are processed by the mind as information data. Me. I understand. That is, it is like a cycle. It is the same being which manifests itself through its own creation and then interprets itself in said creation. I am. Thus, you are the spirit manifested. The body, biology, matter, is the expression of spiritual consciousness. It is the projection of cosmic energy. Now you've started studying piano, haven't you? Me. Yes, I am. Well, let me explain something about this music. There are no different sounds or notes in the universe, but a constant wave of vibration that changes its frequencies, like a single ocean with a lot of waves. Now imagine yourself on a small raft in that huge ocean, say in the middle of the Pacific. How far do you think you can see waves on the horizon with your human eyes? Me. I really don't know. I am. Approximately 5 kilometers with a good and clean horizon. Now the Pacific Ocean is about 18,500 by 14,500 kilometers wide. In other words, you will only see 5 kilometers around waves, which the further away they are, the more difficult they will be to perceive. Now close your eyes and imagine that you can only hear the surf for those 5 kilometers. But the furthest ones will be covered by the noise of the closest waves next to you. Well, imagine hearing the waves that are 10,000 kilometers away from you. Me. Impossible. I am. Which doesn't mean they don't exist. So, the human outlined the ocean, dividing it into regions, into seas, into ocean currents, delimiting the waves to be able to mark distances and spaces or reference points. In music, you call that notes. Actually, they do not exist. They are random, and they only delimit the spaces that you can see. The notes you know are the same throughout your life. They are the ones that enter the 5 kilometers that you can see and hear. This is how your brain works. Separate, limit, divide, with the intention of being able to perceive something impossible to control. And for that, the energy, the vast ocean, needs notes in order to be understood. When the waves reach 5 kilometers, the cycle will start again, but in another superior instance, which creates what you call scales. That is, one more octave of vibration, repeating the cycle until it disappears, due to your inability to perceive it. Look at the keyboard of your piano. and you will see that in the middle, you find yourself in front of 12 main notes, 7 major keys and 5 minor keys. Those 12 are the main ones to play for any song you want to play, and sometimes you can slide 12 notes lower to the left, or 12 notes higher to the right. But the center is you. You are a continuum of vibrations that have been divided into aspects that you can perceive, of which the central 12 are your body. Thus, at 12 o'clock, you see the 7 major tones that you call glands, each one alive by its energy wheels, chakras, that is, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, pancreas, adrenals, and genitals. And then you have the 5 minor keys, knees, ankles, lower center or grounding, higher center or connection to the higher self, and the skin connected to the heart. Within the immensity of the eternal vibration, the being was divided into hundreds of groupings of 12 notes, and one of them is you, here and now. In a more serious scale, your organs vibrate. In a more average, your emotions sound. And in a more acute one, your ideas. But the scale goes on towards the higher self, towards the other dimensions, to mastery, divinity on the one hand, to nature and darkness on the other. A gigantic being, of which you are only 12 notes attached to a major and lower scale, that is, 36 notes that make up your mental, emotional, and physical being. Me. Yeah, I think I can visualize it. I am. So your balance uses the harmonics between these notes. Me. The chords. I am. Chords are groups of 3 notes each, that is, an organ or gland, together with an energy or emotion, connected to an idea or belief. When you manage to connect a physical chord with an emotional or mental one, the music sounds harmonic. That is, if you play the C chord in a medium scale at the same time as a C chord in a low scale, it will sound somewhat melodic. But if you play the C chord with a D chord, it will sound dissonant. Me. An example, please. I am. Let's visualize the C chord in your body. Let's say that of the 12 notes, C is your lower center under your feet. Thus, we would have Do sharp, C sharp in the ankles, Re, D in the knees, Re plus, D plus in the genitals, Mi, E in the sacrum, Fa, F in the plexus, Fa sharp, F sharp in the heart, Sol, G in the upper heart, Sol sharp, G sharp in the laryngeal, La, A in the third eye, La sharp, A sharp in the crown, and T, B in the upper center above the head. Me. The chord of Do, C, would be lower center, sacred, and high heart, which would more or less mean that it is the chord related to the infinite and unconditional love of Mother Earth, creator of life. I am. Exactly. Now imagine that my body is related to the earth and its creative potential, but all my emotion is in the chord of C sharp. That is, C sharp, Fa, Sol sharp, or from the ankle, plexus, and laryngeal chakras, which would basically mean make the own path towards the search for my truth. Me. Of course, my physical being would be in dissonance with my emotional will, and a conflict would be created since I would never achieve my goal. I am. When we are out of alignment, there is no harmony. If there is no harmony, there is dissonance, and that generates noise, chaos, frustration, disgust, depression. Now think that each note is just a vibration. It does not have an emotional weight. It is just a code. But you can only identify the emotion that it awakens in you when you hear it sound together with the melody that your body and spirit create, all together in the song that is you. Me. Now I can see more clearly the mechanism of the 3 bodies as one. It's like a song. Each note composes me, but they are neutral sounds chosen from the sea of sounds, of course. It's not until I live them all together that I feel the thrill. In the same way that we get excited when we hear a good song and we are shocked when someone plays notes out of place. I am. This is how data with no apparent relation to each other make up what you think you feel. An emotion is one more perspective, an interpretation of the energy that vibrates in the notes that compose you. Your organs, your energies, and your beliefs are the notes that, combined, generate a song. If what you think, what you feel, and what you do each have a different purpose or need, this sound reaction will create a dissonant noise that will produce hormones that will make you feel that energetic dissonance, alerting your consciousness that there is something wrong. You call that hate, anger, frustration. Your whole being is a being in formation. Me. And the head, what does it have to do with all this? I am. That's right. You're in a great formation process. A being that is developing is accumulating a lot of data in the form of experience, which is interpreted and accumulated in the head. In Latin, the process of being in training is known as information. Erroneously, humans believe that having information, sharing information, delivering information is only a mental process, useless for the emotional and physical. In turn, when you can't stand the new, you often say phrases like, "It doesn't give me the head. It breaks my head. I'm losing my mind," and the list goes on. But we return to the same thing. You keep separating things. Information is the act or ability to enter the process of forming as a person, of understanding the data that composes me and creating melody from harmony. Your headache is showing you that you are in a process of too much information, in that your notes are trying to line up the correct chords. Do not force the process of accumulating data, because information implies that very thing, a process of being formed. Me. The head represents the I am, where all the data of the different I are, which are the ones that are trying to unite in me right now. I am. For this very reason, stop thinking and allow yourself to be crossed by the process of the formation of yourself, the rearrangement of your inner music. Play the requiem of who you thought you were, so that a new melody can sound, the song of your new self, me. And without the body, without its hormones, I will never be able to feel the process that I am going through. I am. Blessed be matter, for it is the miracle of spirit. Me. Inspire, I am. Exhale, me. Through 4 of the 5 senses, my head receives all the data that makes me perceive the world: hearing, sight, smell, and taste. My 4 different eyes all trying to find balance. I am. But music, you hear it by ear, because it is this sense in your head that finds the balance, the homeostasis of your being. For this reason, music is the language of the spirit, since hearing is the sense of the crown chakra, of the hypophysis, of those who seek balance. If you get dizzy, it's because your inner ear is searching for balance. That's why in waking up, you hear the voices of the spirit in your head. That is why you call it hearing voices, hearing messages. They are not only beings from other dimensions. In 99% of cases, they are your lowest or highest notes trying to align with the average ones that are in you, that sound like external voices, because they continue to be dissonant. Relax, lie back, listen to the silence, and then renew your song. Me. Enough information for my head. I am. It will never be enough, because you are infinite. Me. I am balance, harmony, melody. I am. I am the consciousness in the song of creation.